It is August 4th, 2025, and we have reports of a giant underground blob moving toward New York, plus a 31-year-old frozen embryo and nuclear reactors on the moon. This is Inverted World Live. Welcome back, everybody. I hope you had a great weekend. This is Inverted World Live, and I am your host, Shane Cashman. We got some stories to talk about first, but in about 30 or so minutes, we're going to get to phone calls. The link to call in is pinned in the chat on both Rumble and YouTube, and we want to hear your strange stories. Anything you've got in mind, give us a call, or if you've heard something that we talked about on the show already, give us a call and let us know what you think about it. I am joined, of course, by Brandon. What's up, sir?
What's up, Shane? What's up, everybody? Welcome back for another week of madness. I can't believe the words that are about to come in my mouth, but we are about to discuss a blob heading for New York.
A massive, mysterious, hot blob.
If that doesn't spell weird, I don't know what does. Let's get into it.
According to the New York Post today, a massive, mysterious, hot blob beneath eastern U.S. is moving toward New York, puzzling scientists. Is this the start of Goo York City? Is how it starts. That is the New York Post for you. UK scientists, why are you even trusting them, have discovered a massive blob of rock underneath the Appalachian Mountains that's slowly oozing its way toward New York City, per a slimy new study published in the journal Geology. This thermal upwelling has long been a puzzling feature of North American geology. The study's lead author, Tom Gernon, professor of earth science at the University of Southampton, said in a statement, officially dubbed the Northern Appalachian Anomaly, NAA, this subterranean slime ball sits 125 feet deep underground and extends 220 miles across New England. The team reportedly discovered it using seismic tomography, a method akin to taking a giant CAT scan of the Earth. I wonder what made them start looking for that. We just feel like there's a blob beneath this.
Like, you feel like was just pure boredom, and like somebody was just like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna look over here, and they find a blob. I mean, how are you looking for that? I don't
Tom,
think you are.
Can you bust out the tomography? I think there's something moving really, really big beneath us. While originally thought to have formed 180 million years ago when North America broke away from Africa, the new research suggests that it appeared 80 million years ago when the precursor land masses to Canada and Greenland were splitting apart, Live Science reported. It lies beneath part of the continent that's been tectonically quiet for 180 million years. So the idea that it was just a leftover from when the landmass broke apart never quite stacked up, said Gernon. In a study published last year in the journal Nature, the team described how this molten mantle molasses, molten mantle molasses is created when hot rock sitting just outside the Earth's core rises to fill cracks in the crust caused by land rifts. Interesting, we had a earthquake recently causing the tsunamis. We had tsunamis warning last week, and I think it was this weekend, a 3.6 earthquake hit New York, of all places. Doesn't always happen. One happened in New York when I was about a year old. Do not remember it, but does not happen often there. When this material eventually cools, it sinks or drips, causing a ripple effect along the lower surfaces of the continents that has been called mantle waves. So guys, this blob is mantle waves. It is coming to the greatest city on the earth. That's what they call it. I don't think it's that right now, but it's slowly moving there. By using a combination of direct geological observations, computer simulations, and model plate tectonics and geodynamics, the team was able to replicate the formation of a hot blob 1,120 miles northeast of the Appalachians. We have that photo of this up there. Let's show them this. It's from the Post. What they think it looks like from 80 million years ago. But they found that the primordial ooze was moving southwest at a clip of 12 miles every million years. Yeah, go down just a bit. Let's show them that infographic they made. Yeah, there we go. This is what they've got for you guys with all their tomography from 80 million years ago. It's moving. Fortunately, we don't need to prepare for an blob Blobopolis. I just got done in IRL talking about New York Post headlines, and here we go with the New York Post, who are expanding to California right now with the California Post. And this is why they come up with the phrases Blobopolis. As I said on IRL, the New York Post is famous for my favorite headline, headless body in a topless bar. At this rate, researchers estimate that Blobzilla will reach New York City in 10 to 15 million years, like a very slow-moving B-movie monster. It takes a while for underground movements to make a splash in the Big Apple. That said, we do have some on-ground reporting, Brandon. There's people, I think, on the ground right now with the Blob. If you want to show the people the video that we have, I think it's queued up, are people on the ground right now.
Wait, we have this? Hang on. Is this, let me see if this is in. Or was
around
it
the 20-second mark?
Oh,
yeah,
I got you. I
it.
got you. Okay.
Sorry,
I was like, wait a
specific.
minute.
Should have been more specific.
I'm a dumbass. Welcome back. Welcome back.
It's Monday. But here we go, people. This is on the ground reporting.
Every one of you watching this screen, look out. Because soon, very soon,
that was me right now when he said that. I was like, wait, what?
Will be oozing into this theater.
The Blob. This is a great movie. Look at that.
It makes burping sounds.
Two teenagers see it first.
We can stop
like a
there.
phone.
Everyone should go look up our on-the-ground reporting from 1958 of the Blob. It's a classic.
Do you really think we need to run, not walk from this one? I mean, it's like 15 million years.
To that point, what did they say earlier? That they first thought it was like how old? Hundreds of millions of years old.
It appeared. Hang on. It appeared 80 million years ago.
But they first got the timing wrong. So maybe they got the timing wrong when it will arrive. Or, if things keep going the way they're going, we got the Ring of Fire. That's how we closed last week out, talking about the Ring of Fire. We got these earthquakes going. The doom economy is booming. I feel like the Blob could arrive sooner.
What, like 14 million years?
Tomorrow. Tomorrow. 10 to 15 million years. Sometimes tomorrow does feel like 10 to 15 million years away. But I don't know, guys. I'd keep an eye out for this. The simulation also showed that the Blob may have helped uplift the Appalachians, depending where you're from, explaining why the mountain range remains so high despite significant erosion over the past 20 million years. Heat at the base of a continent can weaken and remove part of its dense root, making the continent lighter and more buoyant, like a hot air balloon, rising after dropping its ballast, said Gernon. This guy's deep into Blob lore, you should know. This would have caused the ancient mountains to be further uplifted over the past million years. After the Blob departs the region, however, the Earth's crust will settle once again, and erosion will continue to wear down the mountains, gradually lowering the elevation. So that's that. I do think it might get there in time. I feel like that the Blob is something the New Yorkers might vote for mayor at some point. Considering how bad it is right now in New York, the Blob sounds like a better alternative.
It sounds like what's been governing in Illinois for the last couple of years, honestly.
Maybe that's where it's coming from. It left Illinois and now it's slowly making its way to New York City, where it will take over. And we have to find out a way to fight the Blob, people. I don't know. There were reports about 2 years ago about another Blob. This Blob they call sargasm. That's what they call it, and it's made of seaweed.
Man.
It's made of seaweed, and it actually took over the Gulf Coast, Florida, 2 years ago, and it was huge.
I don't know how much more of the Blob shtick I can handle already. We've had so much already in the first 9 minutes of the show.
Pull up on YouTube real quick. Go to YouTube and look up sargasm. SAR, I think GASM. I think there might be another G in there. Let's show the people the Blob.
2 G's?
Might be 2 G's. It's hilarious that it sounds like sarcasm.
Is it sargassum and you've been calling it sargasm?
Yes. Well, how do they spell it?
Well, because there's two up here. There's sargassum, And then I think that's an actual like resort. And then there's
no.
Sargasm by Anonymous.
Look up Blob in Florida. And I swear there is a blob, unless I'm from another timeline. And we have the blob in Florida refers to a massive accumulation of seaweed called sargassum. So I think it's pronounced sargassum, sargassum, that frequently washes ashore on Florida beaches. This year, this is probably from 2 years ago, a particularly large bloom of sargassum, part of the Great Atlantic Sargassum Belt, is impacting Florida's coastline. While sargassum is a natural part of the marine ecosystem, large amounts on beaches can cause unpleasant smells and potential health issues. But this is a big deal in Florida. They were dealing with their own blob of seaweed. Now this is a different blob underneath the ground, heading towards New York. That is molten lava. It's molten waves. But yeah, it happens every year. You can look it up. From just earlier this year, it set a new record in Tampa. The amount of sargassum seaweed moving through the Atlantic and Caribbean reached record levels in April. Look at that. It's not as cool, I think, as the other one.
Sargassum seaweed.
Sargassum seaweed.
Intuitively, you would think more sargassum, more habitat.
Sargassum,
more fish.
okay.
But that's not necessarily the way it works, because at some point, the excessive amount of biomass can have negative effects on the quality of that habitat. Lower dissolved oxygen, for example.
Okay.
Yep. Enough of that guy. That guy's not as fun as the other blob expert that we only have to read about. So we got blobs in the news, people. Watch out for that if you're around. If you're a transhumanist listening and you expect to be alive for 10 to 15 million years, the blob will be something you have to contend with out there in New York. But let's go to this other wild story about the Ohio couple with the frozen embryo. This is wild. And this is from CNN. An Ohio couple welcomes a baby boy from a nearly 31-year-old frozen embryo. A baby boy born last week to an Ohio couple developed from an embryo that had been frozen for more than 30 years in what is believed to be a record length of storage time before birth. In what's known as embryo adoption, Lindsay, that's weird to me. Lindsay and Tim Pierce used a handful of embryos donated in 1994 in their pursuit of having a child after fighting infertility for years. And that's something infertility is a very tough thing. I don't want to downplay that, but I do have issues with this kind of stuff. Their son was born Saturday from an embryo that had been in storage for 11,148 days, which the Pierce's doctor says sets a record. It's a concept that has been around since the 1990s, but is gaining attraction as some fertility clinics and advocates, often Christian-centered, oppose discarding leftover embryos because of their belief that life begins at or around conception and that all embryos deserve to be treated like children who need a home, which is where I fall. I felt all along that these three little hopes, these little embryos, deserve to live just like my daughter did, said Linda Archard, 62, who donated her embryos to the Pierces. Just about 2% of births in the U.S. are the result of in vitro fertilization, and an even smaller fraction involve donated embryos. However, medical experts estimate about 1.5 million frozen embryos are currently being stored throughout the country, with many of those in limbo as parents wrestle with what to do with their leftover embryos created in IVF labs, which I think is a horrific idea to consider, depending on how you define what life is. Further complicating the topic is a 2024 Alabama Supreme Court decision that said that frozen embryos have the legal status of children. State leaders have since devised a temporary solution shielding clinics from liability stemming from that ruling, though questions linger about remaining embryos. Archard says she turned to IVF in 1994. Back then, the ability to freeze, thaw, and transfer embryos was making key progress and opening the door for hopeful parents to create more embryos and increase their chances of a successful transfer. So I think it's very interesting. I think they're going to be watching this baby closely to see what a 31-year-old frozen embryo will develop like. Perhaps it will have no issues. You know, I take issue with the amount of embryos created that I think a lot of them just get destroyed or left in storage forever, which is a strange thing to consider. But 31 years old, man, this baby was born with like college debt. I mean, this baby could have been a Bernie supporter and voted.
He's almost
MAGA.
as old as us, dude.
Yes. It's a really bizarre thing to
like-
think about. Like, I do believe life begins at conception, and I believe like to have a life stored in a vault in a fridge for a long time. I'm very curious how that affects a baby. You know, maybe it won't at all. But my goodness, that is a very, very long time. And it just, the whole thing, thinking about that reminded me of the super soldiers we talk about, the things they're doing with like the CRISPR technology, making the dire wolves we talked about, making the mammoth. They got a saber-toothed tiger they're going to make. Like, this is going to be a lot of the future. We already see it happening in the animal world, you know, in the zoology space, where they're creating things from the past, although they're not technically dire wolves. They're just aesthetically dire wolves. They don't like the interior is not so much a dire wolf. They just look like dire wolves. They're mostly gray wolves. But I think they're going to be pushing towards that. I mean, there are people really talking about creating the saber-toothed tiger. I don't know. The ethics behind it are weird to me.
What if it turns out like that weird like Mel Gibson movie from back in the day where he froze himself for like 30 years and then when he got out, he started rapidly aging and basically died like 2 weeks later of old age because it just all caught up with him. Yeah, I can't remember the name of that movie.
I mean, I think
It's older
I
than
think
sin.
people are being cryogenically frozen already. You know, like
Well,
they
we
say
know that
Disney.
there is a lot of fact out there to people that have been, and this ties into the donating your body to science thing, where people have been signing up to have themselves frozen at death and kept in cryo
Yep.
until further studies or science can find a way to resurrect them.
Yep.
And they want to be first in line to be resurrected.
Yeah, I think that's what I think that's why Joe Biden aged so rapidly during his presidency, because they just kept freezing him and thawing him, and he was just like melting. It
Just
was like
popping
that.
fresh embryos every couple of weeks.
He looked like freezer burn. I mean, at the end there, he looked just like freezer burn.
The skin thing that we watched that one night did kind of creep me out. I'm not gonna lie. That was really like when he moved it and it stayed there. I was like,
weird.
oh
I think there's more than one Joe Biden out there.
no.
But yeah, I just thought this was a fascinating thing to consider. Curious what you guys think about all that, not just the IVF stuff, but what it means to be an embryo frozen for 3 decades. Does that affect your soul? What do you guys think? Does it affect anything about your life? Will you just be normal? Normal, you know, who am I to speak? Because here I am with my landfill mutant forehead. I got my own mutations going on that I should worry about. But I do think the way that we are operating with science and creating these things, like when we talked about the super soldier stuff, we were talking about eugenics and how a lot of people are going to start creating their designer babies. I don't know. I think it's going to be bad, you know? I don't think that's a good route to go down. It's going to be like Brave New World, a book you should definitely read if you haven't already. A classic, you know, if you want to get into the dystopian world that we might inherit. You know, it's up there with 1984 and what it means to procreate, what it means to be a human. This is all going to be changing. I think we talked about it a week or two ago about, maybe we didn't talk about it, but the 3 people who put their DNA together to make one baby. That might have been overseas. But like these new weird advances in technology on how to make a human, I think are going to be very interesting. And I if you want to push further into that, I also think it's going to start blending in with that transhumanist world of blending machine and man and prolonging your life, making you shackled to the material world with a much longer lifespan, which is what they want, the transhumanists, in various ways, whether it's expanding your life through literally taking in the blood of the young. I think it's Brian Johnson who took his son's blood, and we talked about Peter Thiel and his blood, buying from the Ambrosia Company. There's many different. We have Ray Kurzweil, who wants to have a computer brain interface, where he says he's wants to upload your consciousness into a computer, and kind of your body will just become a vessel that your quote unquote saved consciousness will be able to float through. And at some point, we're going to have to contend with what is a human anymore. These days we're fighting this fight about woman and man, marriage. And I strongly believe that in the future it's going to be a fight about robots and their rights. And it sounds funny to even say it, but I do think that's the path we're going down. Elon's talking about everyone having a robot in their home. He's making millions and millions of robots. He wants them to be your babysitters. We've got robots building robots in warehouses. We've got robots that can run, that can flip, that are at war, that are going to be your plumbers.
Wait till they want to govern themselves.
Yo, seriously.
Who created human rights?
Right.
Humans.
Right. Well, yeah, I agree.
By humans, for humans.
And what do you think the robots are going to say? Do you think they're going to want to coexist with us, or are they going to want to vote? Or I guess that would be coexisting. Are they going to want to take over and not care about voting?
But I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't come to a point where they wanted their own piece of the pie.
Yeah, I agree. Especially if they keep getting smarter.
That's human nature. Their job is to be as close to us as they possibly can. Why wouldn't they start adopting the values and
That's a great point.
The stuff that we put together as a society since the beginning?
That's a great point. Because if AI is just like a human centipede of everything that's on the internet that we've put it there, the AI is just reproducing, it's regurgitating what we put out there. So at some point, it will inherit all of these deeper feelings of rights that they want to exist. If it's getting smarter, I'm putting that in quotes, because it's mimicking us to a better degree. I think it will. There will be a point people will want. I should have had that article put up. I didn't think of it. There was people talking about articles about AI girlfriends or robot girlfriends, which is a thing we've talked about in the past on this show because it's been going on for years. There's like people in Japan married to robots. There's people all over doing probably lots of weird things to robots. Elon is right now currently making AI porn that he keeps throwing on his Twitter feed, and he's about to get blocked because it's getting gross. But I think that conversation is going to have soon. Kim Kardashian will probably be the first celebrity to marry a robot. She's going to say it should vote. They're going to want equal rights as a marriage. And we're going to have to deal in that world where these things we're fighting about now will seem silly when the robot who's been eating everything we've put onto the internet now wants to have equal rights with you. Maybe not. But I'm seeing that on the fringes of that transhumanist movement. You know what? Not even on the fringes. It's the people. It's the people who are deeply in that world who are talking about how we're going to embrace technology. You know, if you look at something like what's it called? I was about to call it the Transhumanist Manifesto, but it's technological manifesto, techno-optimist manifesto by Mark Andreessen. He's not talking about marrying robots, but it is about this embrace of this utopia where we live alongside this technology. And like I've said before, that manifesto is like in direct conflict, I think on purpose, with Ted Kaczynski's manifesto, which, look, I don't agree with the violence, but he made lots of great points about leftism, universities, and technological advances that we are now, as a country, as a world, just now really coming to grips with. Or starting to. But some people saw it coming down the pike. You know, he was a professor. He saw how bad the universities were and how these advances were going. So I don't know. These advances are just very, very interesting, and I think a little scary when we start to play God and what we can do to humans to create them, to design them, to marry them to technology, what that means for definition of life, what that means for the social credit score, which will be much easier to usher in once we're all super plugged in. So yeah, I think it's gonna be interesting to see how this child grows up. I wish them all the health, and I totally understand the plight of how hard it is to have a kid. It's terrible. I know people who have similar views as I do when it comes to IVF and what a life means, but they do IVF and they have a different way of seeing it. It's a very crazy thing to think, but I've talked to people who work in these IVF places, and even them, they're more left-leaning. They totally don't agree with me on anything when it comes to this stuff, but they're weirded out by the destruction of embryos. It's widespread. It's like hundreds upon thousands, and it makes them feel icky. So it's a weird conversation. I think we're going to be having a lot more of it.
Do you ever have anybody try to insult you in school and they haul off and call you a test tube baby?
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm thinking about it right now. And while that was happening, this kid was getting pumped into a test tube, and he's been sitting there ever since. Because that was about the same timeline. I was about 8 or 9 years old, I want to say, when that was going around
You are
school.
so right. We were being called test tube babies when this kid was... This embryo
that's trippy,
was
man.
Sitting in a test tube in a fridge. Wow. That's good context. All right, let's before we get to callers, let's listen to JD Vance real quick. Vice President Vance. I thought this was interesting. And just shout out to everybody joining us. Thank you guys for being here. If you came over from IRL, welcome. We are going to get to phone calls soon. The link to call in is pinned in the chats on Rumble and YouTube. It's audio only, so you can call in. No one's going to see you. But if you've got a story to tell, strange memory, or a thought about anything we've talked about so far, Blobs, JD Vance, and frozen embryos, Let us know. Let's listen in to the vice president.
The other thing is there are stories that I am particularly focused on, in part just because you talk with your buddies about it. Like, I'm obsessed with the whole UFO thing. What's actually going on? What were those videos all about? What's actually happening? I haven't gotten to the bottom of it yet, but we're only 6 months in. We've been very busy. That's actually the August recess is in part me going to try to dive to the bottom of the whole UFO thing from last year. So
I mean, you got to have us back.
It is August.
Yep, they're on recess. So hopefully we hear back from the vice president about what he's discovered. There's actually a pretty interesting interview with him. You know, I have conflicting feelings about him because I joke that he's a test tube baby from Peter Thiel. He's not technically a test tube baby, but Peter Thiel did create him. But I find him fascinating and very smart, and I did enjoy his book. And this interview, it's only 20 minutes. Shout out to UAP James for posting this clip. But just hearing him talk about what it's like to be a dad was interesting to me in the White House with 3 kids. We were very close in age and have 3 kids also in the same age. So it's just interesting to see his life and how it's changed and hear him talk about it. But this I loved because I just would love to see him actually follow up on this. Is he going to come back with UFO information, or are we not going to hear anything else again? Is it just something to laugh about? What do you think?
Well, Mr. Vice President, I can give you somewhere to start. Why don't you tell me what the hell is going on in Mexico? This is the second or third now UAP video I've seen come out of Mexico in the last couple of weeks. And lo and behold, it's another giant silver orb.
Spheres are taking over. We got spheres and blobs, dude.
Let's take a look. Our bilingual chat friends out there, feel free to translate because I believe this is in Spanish.
Yes.
Una esfera.
La acercaste, pero de aquí no se...
Aquí la estoy viendo.
Wow, ahorita no lo enseño.
¿Qué onda? Una esfera, mira.
Ya viste. Ay,
Ya
la
se
tapó
escondió.
la nube. No fue la nube.
What does it say on the bottom there?
It says Dom Lucre.
Oh no, with the reader context.
Oh, it's an observatory.
I'd love to know if it really is. I love that. It's like narrator. He's wrong. But maybe it is.
That's super impressive. Getting a picture perfectly around an observatory all the way up at the top of this mountain. But what do you guys think? This is another bogus sphere-looking object, but this appears to be much, much larger in scale.
Yup.
And
The spheres, man. Maybe it's an observatory. If we have any Mexican friends listening right now who are there, you can go visit this. Let us know. Is it an observatory? Is a sphere there? Is it
do
gone?
Do me a favor. Put some rations together, a couple gallons of water, climb this fucking mountain, and go see if this is there.
Yes, please.
And I will put you on the show.
Yes.
Personally, we'll fly you in and have you on the show live if you can tell us about this fucking thing.
You heard it here first. I'm seeing you guys in the chat. Jeremy said Mary Morgan is the best part of Timcast. She might be on this show in the near future. So Mary's great. It would be great to have her on. Let's hope that happens.
We have to get somebody on the show for her to belittle and assault, though, verbally. I would love to see that. She's
I
good
feel
at
bad for
doing
that person. Someone, Agent 48, Vance is my brother, like in Christ, or or for real. He's been body snatched. Who's that? Desert Sunsets, I see you. Thank you guys for the kind words. I see those. Yeah, if Vance ever starts wearing an eye patch, watch out, says Terry Ross. Terry Ross, you got good ones out there. What else do we have? Maybe we should bring up, if you have the Matt Rife stuff, maybe we should revisit that really quick.
I can see if I can find it.
See if you find
really
it, and I'll just prattle on about it. But have you guys seen the news? Matt Rife, not of Rife Technologies, because there is another Matt Rife that I know. Not that Matt Rife, who is great, but Matt Rife, the comedian, has purchased the house and all the contents where Annabelle the doll is. Annabelle the doll has become such a figment, a part of this show. Never thought that would happen. But now Matt Rife, after dating in Hollywood, has chosen to settle down with Annabelle the doll. I don't know if it's a good idea, people. I don't think it's a good idea. But it's him and a buddy. And, oh, man, I forgot to reach back out to AK Kamar. You sent me a message, and I did tune in about they were live streaming from the house, and they were already having issues in the house. Like, they were hearing something. One thing was telling them to get out. Another thing was telling them to stay. Maybe it's all just for show. Maybe it's worldwide wrestling.
I mean, that happens here.
Yeah.
That happens to me.
You hear it, get out.
Yeah, it's usually Kellen, like, get out. What are you doing?
I'm like, no.
Get in here. What are you doing? Stop it.
It's the chickens downstairs.
It's something. You call it gremlins. I call it this house is old and shit goes wrong. That's just me, though. But I'm throwing my name in the hat right now for let's go do a show at this place.
Yeah, I think we should.
Let's find a way to do a show from the Warrens. See if we could talk to Matt Refe. That would be dope.
You know, the people in the chat are gonna say, since you said you'd kick it.
I might get that opportunity.
Does Annabelle the doll need a restraining order against you?
She should definitely be afraid. As afraid as everyone is of her, she should be more afraid of me because I will punt that bitch. I'm not playing games.
I'm just going to be saying prayers. I'm just going to pray. I'm not even going to do the host of the show. I'm just going to pray the whole time.
As long as she stays away from me, we're fine. I don't want to look
creepy.
down and she's standing at my
what
feet.
What a shock for Matt Refe to buy this place.
Yeah, so if you guys, I posted something over the weekend about this video. We threw it up as a clip, but we've got him here talking about it here. So let's watch a little bit of this really quick in case you haven't seen it. Did I just mess that up? I totally just messed that up. How did I do that?
Matt Refe buys the Warren Occult Museum. August 4th. This is from today, but this happened over the weekend.
They skipped that forward.
We're going to make you watch this ad.
Yeah, they totally just robbed me of the video that I wanted. Hang on.
I thought it was a joke.
I thought it was too initially because I was like, when Alex sent it to me, I was like, no.
Why?
Like, why?
Why would he do this to himself?
He's just super into this kind of shit, I guess.
He is.
And he's super excited about it when he's talking about it in the video. You can tell he's like all about it.
Let comedian Matt Refe tell you what he did. Go ahead.
Castay and myself are the owners of the physical Ed and Lorraine Warren's Home and Occult Museum. We are the legal guardians and caretakers of all 750 haunted artifacts and items in the Warren Museum, including the Annabelle doll. I must go on record and say we do not legally own the items, but we are the legal guardians and caretakers of the items for at least the next 5 years.
5 years.
Michael S. says, R.I.P. Matt Refe. I can't even speak. I'm like so worried.
That would be the kicker, wouldn't it? Was if all of a sudden mysterious things started happening to Matt Refe.
I hope not. I would hate to see it, but it is Michael S. says, is Matt Refe Illuminati confirmed? I don't know. He's messing with some dark forces. Renee also said, R.I.P. Matt Refe. Do you think he touched them all? Renee says, man, I hope not. It's a scary proposition out there in that house.
We got to show this, though.
What do we got? Look at that. He's got his God's Country shirt on.
That is the official We Bought It picture that he posted when he put this up.
I did not see this coming.
You can see her back there in her little creepy-ass house.
Yeah, a lot of things I was hearing back when I sent a tweet out about this was that a lot of people didn't realize that the original Annabelle doll looked like a Raggedy Ann doll.
Yeah.
Which is creepier to most people.
Yeah, no, and people see this picture a lot.
Yep.
That's from the movie. That's not the actual Annabelle doll. It's just a recreation. The real one is a Raggedy Ann doll. And I've seen a lot of people arguing about it online. Like, that's not what the doll looked like at all. And it's like, well, yeah, we know that, but
you need it for clicks. Well,
recreation, you know.
Matt, I'm praying for you. And we want to come by and do a live stream from the house.
Yeah, and on my side, Matt, I'm proud of you, dude. Fuck yeah, let's go. I think this is going to be dope. We can't wait to find a way to get up there, check out the museum and the house, and hopefully he'll let us shoot a show from there. That would be dope.
Imagine our Halloween show from there.
There's an idea.
All right, I'm putting it out there. Sometimes when I put things out there, it happens. Weirder things have happened before with me, putting things out on the internet, and then they just happen. I called the Oasis reunion a year before it happened. You're welcome. So let's try to do this. Let's get to callers, shall we?
Sure.
And then maybe at some point we'll go back to some other things. I know there was so much that's been happening over the weekend. It's a good time to have the Inverter World Live show. Everyone tweet him. Yes, Project Mayhem. Yes. And thank you to Project Mayhem for always sending in stories. We appreciate it.
All right, we're going to bring on, just because I like this name, we're going to pull them on first. The name is Pets Dogs.
Okay, perfect.
Hello.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
We can. Welcome to the show.
Oh, I was your last caller when you guys left last week, and I got to be the first one.
Perfect.
Sweet.
Bookending it. What's up?
I changed my name from Danny to Pets Dogs to match, so it wouldn't confuse your call in and chat.
Oh, not at all confused. Thank you for that.
What's going on?
I want to tell you two stories. One's a ghost story, and one's kind of a story about how life can seem stranger than fiction. So I'll start with the ghost story for you. I was probably 15 years old, and I lived right off like 15th and Prescott. Those from Portland know where that is. And there's a house, I could see it from my porch, and it had been boarded up for years. Probably, I don't know, most of the time, I don't ever remember anybody living in it. We always just figured when you seen that it was like an old meth house. Remember how they used to like board them up, nobody could live in them.
Mm-hmm.
And then at one time there was like crews there. They had been there for a few weeks, and they had been remodeling. You know, they had like pallets of plywood in the front yard. There was like all kinds of contractors all over it and stuff. And then and I'd walk my dog by the same route every time and pass by this school. And one day, everybody's just bailing out of the house. Like there's like 10 people fleeing from this house. I figured it was like roaches or some kind of thing, you know, gas leak. The way they were running. One guy jumped in a van and took off, and he had his saw plugged in the back of the van, and he drove down the street with his tools dragging, cords dragging.
Whoa!
And when like all the smoke cleared, there was like tools all over the place. And then like one guy shows up later. It's like everybody's like stealing tools and stuff, and people are peeking in the house and like running out with stuff and things. But this guy shows up after I walk my dog, and I come back, and I was like, yeah, what was going on? And he told me that they had been having experiences. I don't remember a lot about like what he was saying they were going through. Mm-hmm. Just like he had tried to get multiple crews to work on this house. And for one reason or another, they would only last so long, especially like painters by themselves and stuff like that. They would quit. But whatever happened that day scared everybody all at the same time. And they just left it with all the materials and everything. He ended up putting a board over the window, boarding up the door, but they didn't come back for any of those things. I'm pretty sure somebody lives there now, but it was just like, I would wish I had more details about like what they seen or whatnot, but the guy that was probably losing money on the job was pretty frank about like why they left and whatnot, and you know his experience on not being able to get people to work on the house.
And he believed it was because of something paranormal.
Yeah, I remember him saying, you know, there were things like showing up behind people, and there was like, you know, doors shutting. I remember there was a couple guys' stories that he was relaying to me, but it was just so long ago. I don't remember any of the like specifics. But it was definitely a poltergeist, like, you know, things interfering with workers. And, you know, it would start small and then get like, you know, more aggressive, and they would quit or whatnot. So he said he could never get anybody to last.
It's quite the scene for everyone to escape the place all at once, you know, mid-job.
The thing that was crazy was the guy, you know, tools are expensive, and when you're a tradesman, you don't leave your stuff behind like that. And his skill saw and everything was all in the back of his van. Things were extension cords were dragging, tools were flying out. They were out of there. You know, like I'd never seen anybody leave a scene before, except for when gunshots or something go off.
Right. It'd be interesting to find out, if possible, the history of the house. Like what happened. You said it might have been it looked like a crack house, but what happened? Like who was there before? You know,
I could send you the address. I know exactly. They're very short blocks. There's only 2 houses on that side. It's like it'd be an easy one to. And also, why I'm remembering, I did send you the address to the farmer house story. If you ever wanted to check that out on your X account.
Okay.
It wasn't under Pets Dogs. It was a day or 3 after that show where I told the story. If you want, I can resend it. I can include this address. And if you ever want to just look at them at a map, I know you can do like research skills on properties and stuff. So maybe you want to take
send them again. I'd be curious to see what happened, especially with this. Well, both of them are fascinating, but this one with the people running out of is crazy.
I'll tell you what I do. What I'll do, because I have a few other ones that I haven't told you. I'll send you a list, like a bullet point list with just the addresses and the kind of 2 ghosts or whatever refer to the story, and then you can look at some of these places. I would love to know what the people that are living there now have experienced. You know, like it'd be a little rude to knock on their door and be like, "Hey, is something going on? Because I saw this," and freak out some family or something.
You could anonymously leave a paper at their doorstep with just a link to our show and tell them to call in.
That would be cool.
Or do it like don't trespass, but it'd be great to see, to hear from them, be like, what's going on? And watch it be nothing.
Well, most of these places are apartments, but like that one I told you with the 2 ghosts, or the one that I told you with the farmer, those seems like things that wouldn't go away. Like they would just be, I don't know, if maybe only kids are able to see a lot of this stuff. I'm not sure, depending on where your mind's at, but. But I would imagine that people would have like further experiences that they don't just fade away that quick without some sort of spiritual intervention or something, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And you said you had another story too?
Yeah, let me tell you this story about when I was in the mall with my kid, and out of all the ghost stories and stuff, this might be the I might have felt more helpless and like I was in a more off-planet experience than anything else. I was in this pet store in the mall, right? It's Lloyd Center, back when they had a pet store. Mm-hmm. And my kid was about 5 years old. He had some early learning disabilities. He didn't talk real well. He's probably like the verbal capabilities of like more of a 3-year-old at that point. So anyway, I would go in this store all the time. I knew the people, and you're not allowed to like pet the dogs or whatever. They're in those little cubicles where you look at them.
Yep.
Well, he really wanted to pet this one dog, and the lady was like, well, it is time to feed him. I guess I could bring him out. And so she went to get the dog. And right beside me was where the rabbits are in the little pen, and he's over there petting the rabbits. You're parent, you keep your head on a swivel every 3 seconds, you're checking. She wanted to know, I'm pointing out the right dog. And during that time, my kid, I look over and he's not there. And so the store is small, man. It's like, I don't know, a couple hundred square feet. It's like a rectangle. It's just a mall store. It's not real big. Mm-hmm. And I look at one aisle. There's only 2 aisles. I look the other aisle, and right I look out the door. They have the glass windows on both sides. You know what I mean, for showcase stuff. I see my kid, and I see an arm holding his hand, and he's just disappearing my view, leaving to the right, out of the store, out past where I can't see him anymore. So I bail out of the store, and I run out there, and it's really crowded. And I push through a few people. I can see this person like moving through the crowd, but I can't see if they have my kid. And I get up close, and it's this Vietnamese, looks like some sort of Vietnamese type lady, and she's like missing teeth, and she's homeless. She's wearing like 3 coats. She's got like just like all these dirty garments on and stuff. And she's dragging my kid who's reaching back and like looking for me, but he's not yelling or anything. And so I grab his arm and her shoulder, and I shove her with one arm and pull him back with my other. She goes spinning around and falls on the ground, which causes everybody around to like spread out in a circle. And then there's this screaming match between me and her. My veins are popping. I'm cussing, and you know, I seem like an asshole because I'm so irate, you know. And then security immediately, like the mall security shows up. There's a lot of them, all like real quick. There's like 10 of them. They surround me and they're like, "What's going on?" And they got her kind of in the circle too. And I'm explaining she just tried to kidnap my kid. And the mall owner's standing there or the pet store owner's standing right at the door of her thing. We're right outside of it at this point. And he's like, no, I don't think must be a misunderstanding. And I'm like, no, she grabbed my kid and took him out of the store. And she's screaming in whatever language she speaks, and they can't communicate with her. By this time, cops have showed up. Now, Portland police are all surrounded. Now, there's literally like 20 cops between security and cops. And they separate me. They separate her by a few feet, but I can hear what's going on with her. And they can't communicate with her, so they have one officer that speaks Spanish. And he can't speak what she speaks, but they bring him in to interpret for some reason. And I tell him, look, get the video. You'll see her take him from the store from the video. And he says, no, we need a warrant for that. We can't get the video. And the pet store owner says, no, you can have the tape right now. I own the store. And he tells her, it's not necessary. That's not what happened. Like this, he's misunderstood. Why would she take his kid? And so I'm out there and I'm holding my kid against me on my chest, right? And I'm screaming because they're letting her go. And now she's getting ready to like walk away through the crowd. And so I'm like yelling at this other cop that's letting her go. So they kick me in my the back of my knee to drop me to the ground. So now I'm on the ground on both knees, and the cop's standing on my ankle. And he's like he says, say another word and I'll arrest you and we'll call CSD on you. And your kid's going to child services and you're going to jail. So at this moment, I'm surrounded by kids who are detaining me while they let my kid, almost kidnapper of my child go. And I can't even speak now because if I say a word in the best interest of my kid, I don't want him peeled away from me and dragged off into somebody's car. Yep. Even if it's going to be straightened out, or whatnot, or maybe not. But
yeah.
In that moment, I had never felt more helpless than I had ever felt in my life, which was having my kid almost taken from me, and then having cops kick you to the ground and hold you there while they let her go. Oh. And I still think about that Kairen Hormon kid. He's from here, and they had no interest in pursuing it at all, even though they didn't even want to bother to stop and watch the camera footage. And I can't help but think there could have been she could have just went to the other end of the mall and took the kid out there that day.
Yeah, seriously.
But you can find yourself surrounded by what you'd think would be perfectly reasonable people. And, that happens to people in courts and child custody hearings and, everything else. But yeah, it was scary, man. More scared than it still scares me.
It's a nightmare. That's a total nightmare. I'm sorry. That is insane. Did you ever find out anything about the lady?
No, they actually 86'd me from the mall. We always went back, but they told me if I was ever caught there back that I'd get a trespass. They walked me to my car, escorted me to my car, and then told me to leave the parking lot and never come back to the Lloyd Center again.
My goodness, that's evil. Especially since the store owner was going to let them have the video footage. Like what?
Yeah, she knew me. She knew he had been in there because the mall has like a play thing where kids go and the little tree slide and stuff. I would take them there all the time just for something to do and to be around kids because there's 30 kids there and you could just take them there. It's like an indoor park and stuff. So he was there all the time. So she knew us really. She knew what all kinds of things about him. So she was more than willing to give up the tapes, and they wouldn't even look at him.
It's reminding me of the story that just broke. Was it last week or this weekend with the toddler that walked away from the father in the mall, and then there's footage of the person picking up the kid and or maybe not picking up, but walking away with the kid hand in hand. And I think the mother found them because the mother happened to be at that location. It's terrifying.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't, you know, something horrible happening to your kid would be really devastating. But being, you know, are you familiar with the Kairen Hormon situation?
No, tell us.
Do you remember that? It was well publicized. There was like the stepmom took the kid to school, and then the kid like disappeared from school. It was a huge story. If you look back, I'm sure it would jog your memory because it was like nationwide. Every year they did like a thing looking for him and stuff. But it was basically it was like the dad. You know, he was always on the news and stuff, so it stayed fresh in our minds here, at least locally, for a long time. But he's been missing. They think he might have been out at Savi's Island. They searched that place, but he's been missing for a long time, and they never found him. And there was so much that they could have like gone off, and it was really strange that really they came up with nothing in the end.
Oh yeah, I'm seeing it. I do remember these pictures of this little boy. This is old, right? This is like 15 years ago.
Yeah, my kid. This is right. This is pretty similar around the time. It was, you know, having a kid disappear like that, and it was so publicized here. It was really, it's like my example in my head of that tragedy. But if to have a parent, you know, of a boy or a girl just be missing and not know what their fate was, and not know that, you know, you shouldn't just be walking neighborhoods, or
you
know, I'd go insane.
Yeah. Yes, I know. I wouldn't be able to sleep. I'd be walking everywhere. I'd be driving everywhere, and then, you know, you're telling.
Yeah, you couldn't help but fall apart. I mean, I don't blame the people that pull their lives back together, but dude.
Yep. It's terrible. What a terrible experience. That's what putting parents with their heads on a swivel is the way to put it. Because when you're out in the world with your kids, I mean, you never know what's going to happen. And unfortunately, we're surrounded by a lot of crazy people. And it just doesn't.
And the
stop.
crazy people don't always look like this lady. This lady looked, you know, she's crazy, but
right.
Usually they're people you trust, man, and that, you know, stuff like that. It's usually within the family or the circle or the acquaintances or sports, you know, schools, all that stuff. So just watch your kids and don't trust everybody. None of us like to be rude or intrusive or, you know, you just be careful who your kids are around. And, you know, with suicide and stuff being so prevalent with the generation we got with young kids, they don't have the coping skills.
Yeah.
Be careful who their friends are. You know, I've had some experiences with kids that you get a feeling around a kid like he's a little, you know, twerp. Just get him away from him, man. Don't let him be alone with those kids, because, you know, you don't know what kind of influences they're getting from them, and they care a lot about what their friends say and think more than you do at a certain age. So
totally agree.
Yeah, I've taken enough of you guys' time. I know I was the last caller, so I'll let people get on, but
we appreciate
I got more stories. So now my name's changed, and I'll send you that a list of addresses here soon.
Awesome. Thanks, man. We appreciate it.
Hey, take it easy.
You
Take
too.
care.
Oh my goodness, that is terrifying. Yeah, I don't trust anybody. Wait, Renee said my daughter was kidnapped by her bus driver. Is that real? Oh my gosh. Terrible. Yeah, Megan says that's hell for a parent. Dude, I can't even imagine. It's so scary. It's really something else, how scary people can be. I remember when I was like 3 at the Bronx Zoo in the bat tunnel, I let go of my parents' hand, and I walked out of the tunnel, and someone else had my hand. And it like scarred me. Like I remember that clearly. And I was like 3 or 4. And my mom was like, "Oh my God, where's my son?" And I didn't know. It was so dark in the bat tunnel that when I walked away to look at it's like a dimly lit red chamber of bats, I went back and someone else grabbed my hand. Maybe they thought I was their kid. You know, who knows? I don't think so. It always felt very dark to me.
You'd like to think so, but it's not really always the case. It kind of blows my mind how many people you see when you're actually looking into this kind of shit will just nonchalantly try to just swipe a goddamn kid like it's theirs. And just the way that they go about it, it's almost so natural for some of these people.
Did you see the video from this weekend?
What the hell?
Did you see that video that I was referencing?
For
that guy in the mall taking someone else's kid or trying to. It's insane.
No, is that in our?
No, I didn't send it.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know if it came across your Twitter feed or anything, but it was like a big deal.
I went media dark for the entire Sunday
just
because the whole week was just insane.
Weekend.
So I just threw my phone in the corner on Sunday and just let it stay there until this morning.
It was just a very nonchalant. I think it was some immigrant who walked up to a child and just walked away with him in his hand. And it's like, what? I mean, the father sounds like walked away from the father. The father didn't realize the kid walked away. That's not. I mean, I get things happen, but you can't be out in public, and unfortunately, in this world, and not have your head on a swivel, like our caller said. Wild stuff. Let's get to another caller.
All right. So, proof once again, I am being foxed by these people changing their names. So, I think this is new caller based off what I've seen in the chat, but I could get hoaxed again.
And real quick, I just want to say, Renee, you maybe, I mean, you don't have to call in, but this is crazy. I'm seeing this comment. They took the bus driver off at gunpoint.
She posted a thing about there's a video out there of it.
Oh my gosh. Eric Lassen lost my older son at Disney for like 45 seconds. Yeah, 45 seconds feels like infinity. It's so insane. Wow. Yeah. And I have like, my kids are wild. Like they just want to run everywhere. So I'm like,
oh, I was an asshole.
Yeah, me too.
I was trying to get lost.
Me too.
On purpose.
Me too.
And I used to laugh. She'd be like, someone's going to kidnap you. I'm like, who the fuck would want to kidnap me? I'm an asshole.
Anyway, let's get to this caller.
All right, let's go to Arthur. Unless we're having join bug again. Join bug is always fun.
The join bug.
I'm referring it to.
I like that.
Referring to it as join bug now.
I like that.
Arthur, you're on the show. What's up?
Yo, can you hear me?
We can. How you doing?
Not bad.
What's up?
Yeah, just thought I'd call up. You know, I'm actually from Sydney, Australia, so pretty far from you guys.
Incredible.
But yeah, it was kind of listening to the ghost story that the last gentleman just talked about.
Mm-hmm.
And just thought I'd throw one of my ghost stories in.
Perfect.
Probably around about the same age, about 15, 16. I was up in Moree, where we used to go for holidays, which is up in northern New South Wales, out in the bush country kind of area. Summertime and that, there with my family, including my cousin, that were laying at the door. And it's probably about midnight, 12:30 kind of thing. And my cousin and I were just laying on the floor, just talking about girls and that, about girl that he liked and that. And just all of a sudden, from the side of the house, from the front where we were looking out the front door, from the front there, all the way down the side of the house, down the driveway to the back, was just like as if someone was running along the wall. Just like bang, 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 like all the way down. Scared the crap out of us and, kind of jumped up, ran off towards the back where the kitchen was, looked out the back window there, saw a guy there, elderly guy. Like, what the hell's going on? So my cousin's going to, get my parents up, and I've gone out the back. By the time that I've just gone out the back, which not that far to go to the door, had vanished. By then, I'm out there looking around in the backyard, trying to find this guy. Couldn't find him at all. My cousin Mike comes out, brings out my parents. They're asking what's going on. I told them, couldn't find the guy at all. And, we're talking about it, and they were asking what was going on. We told them how it was banging all the way down. Saw this old guy standing in the backyard. And then all of a sudden, we saw a shadow up the back where the garage was. There was a shadow there, and we all saw it. And cousin and I, being who we were, martial artists, kind of gang-related stuff and all that, he ran one way, I ran the other way. Now, if he was there, we were going to cut him off. We ran into each other. Guy had vanished again.
Whoa.
And we're looking at it thinking, well, like, where'd this guy go? Like, this guy would have had to have been, I'd say, 80, around the 80 kind of mark. Like, fairly old guy. There's no way he was jumping a fence, you know, and outpacing a 15, 16-year-old, you know what I mean? We're trying to work out what's going on, going back to the parents. We're talking. All of a sudden, my stepbrother turned around and pointed over at the next door neighbor, which the next door neighbor there was actually my grandfather. Pointed over his yard, and the guy was there. And there was a fence in the like a gate, sorry, in the fence where we can kind of go back and forth. And we ran, tried to chase this guy down, just vanished before our eyes. And there was like a tree area, and we thought, like, did he run to the trees? Trying to work it out. We're looking around, and then all of a sudden, his kangaroo just jumped out and went flying down, you know, jumping off down the street. It freaked me, my cousin and I out. And, you know, to this day, don't know who this guy was or what he was there for, but it freaked the hell out of us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a crazy one. So you were able to see features before you saw the shadow?
I know where he's going with this. He's going to ask if he had a hat on.
I was getting there, yeah.
No hat.
What'd you say?
Hat. Kind of like a
no hat,
grayish, blondish kind of hair. I don't know if you've ever seen like elderly Aboriginal looking people. That's exactly what he was. Like he was an Aboriginal, looked like an elder, and that's, I mean, probably would have been a 70, 80-year-old, you know, gentleman. And as I said, like there was no way this guy was outrunning us at our age, and you know how sporty we were. There was just no way. And it was kind of like probably about 10, 15 minutes out there talking, and we've kind of gradually started to go back in. And as we did, he's standing at the front door. The same guy, standing at the front door, just smiled at us, walked off to the left, and we've gone running out yet again. He's not there. Now, right there was no way to get off because there was all like kind of like mesh kind of thing that's like engulfed the veranda as a shade kind of area. There was no way to get off, but he walked off into that area, just disappeared again.
What do you think? This is a ghost, or do you think this is some like supernatural Aboriginal?
It's not sure. Like of course, my cousin and I always, you know, because this would have been around about 1992, 93, somewhere around then. And the whole time we've always said ghost. Like, you know, we kind of, someone did mention to us, like, oh, what about like how they do like the dreams and all that kind of thing, that maybe, you know, it's like a spiritual kind of thing that they've done. But no, we always went straight ghost. But you know, I mean, like there was no conclusion to it all, of, you know, exactly who he was and all that kind of thing, you know, what he was.
And that's what the whole family agrees on? Like, did your grandfather have any theories?
Oh, well, the grandfather was in his house. He was asleep at the time.
Oh, okay.
My parents, they were like confused, didn't know what was going on. You know, my stepbrother, you know, he was freaked out beyond anything. That he was actually in tears and that. So, yeah, it's kind of hard to say.
Was that your first encounter with something like a ghost?
First, no. My first was, I was probably about 7 years old, and was at a relative's house that was an old house in Parramatta, and yeah, that was a dark one then. Shadow, like, was actually impacted, kind of like as if I walked into a wall. There was no wall, there was no door, nothing there. Just this big black shadow that just took me down like there was no tomorrow.
So you have a history of shadows.
Yeah, like that's what I mean. There's been plenty of shadows, like the quarantine center at Manly area. It's closed down now, I think. Same kind of thing. Just shadows, a lot of shadows and that.
Wait, the quarantine center, like as in lockdowns?
Yeah, like the back. Oh, geez, I don't even know when it was. Like back, like 150 years, 200 years.
Oh, okay, old school.
Like kind of when the
penal colony.
when all the ships used to come over, they used to quarantine them.
Gotcha.
That was a center that they would go to. But yeah, there was a lot of shadow play and that going on in there.
Going back to that first story, you mentioned that you saw a kangaroo after. Do you think there was some connection there?
Well, that's what we kind of, me as in my cousin and I, that's what we kind of laughed about, was that out of everything, that where did this kangaroo come from? Was it there in the first place? Like, where did this guy go? Did he turn into this kangaroo? You know what I mean?
Right.
Which we of course, the way we are, we have doubts about that.
Could be a shapeshifter.
As I said, nothing's set in concrete with it all. It was just a experience that we had that kind of scared us at the start and then just freaked us out, like what was going on.
Well, that's a crazy one. We appreciate you sharing it with us.
Yeah, all good.
Thanks, man. Be safe out there.
Same here, man. Have a good one.
Good night. The bugs and animals in Australia are maybe spookier than the ghost stories. They have the craziest looking
Yeah, they have
animals,
like huntsman spiders and shit, don't they?
Yeah, I don't know if I could survive there.
Which are supposed to be like harmless, apparently, but they're the size of the wall.
Yeah, I don't care. They're crazy
in
looking.
your room.
They don't look good. Shadows aren't ghosts. Yeah, well, it's hard to know these days. They're Shadow Man. I mean, shadows and I'm looking at Gerard Thomas's comment here. Shadows aren't ghosts. What if they're both demons? Gerard, do you think shadows are different, ghosts are different? And do you believe they're just both sort of demon entities? Because sometimes it seems like they go back and forth. Like this story, a ghost turning into a shadow. I don't know.
Clearly, he's never seen the movie Ghosts.
Or Ghostbusters.
No, like literally, and it's Patrick Swayze.
Oh, that one?
Yeah.
That classic one?
The demons were actually shadows that were coming up off of the sidewalk in the middle of the night.
That's a good.
And they were being attacked by actual shadows.
Crazy movie. Oh, let's do another caller.
Yeah, that movie was crazy. All right.
Yeah, people only remember like the pottery scene.
Yeah,
it's a dark movie.
It was a super sexy scene.
Weird.
That's why that's all people care about. Sex now.
It's weird.
Sexy scene.
Sexy ghost scene.
Ghosts aren't shadows. Sexy scene. Pottery barn. Sexy scene. Ghosts aren't shadows. Let's go to Nicholas D. Nicholas, you're on the show. What's up?
Hey, I'm good. How are you doing? I got a phone call.
Awesome. What's up?
Sorry, I'm at work, so I'm just trying to do this real quick and bounce you guys.
You're not gonna get fired for calling into the show, are you?
No, not at all. I do electrical work, man. We get to BS a lot. No, but I got a couple stories for you, man. I got
for you guys.
Cool. We'll bring all our stuff down here.
You see, like you're making organized, your tools and all that.
Yeah, awesome.
And you can close your door.
I'm on the phone, but awesome. We'll bring all that stuff here. But
yeah, if he's got stories too, we'll talk to him.
But no, I got a Hat Man story for you, as well as a demon story for you.
All right.
So I'll start with the Hat Man story. You guys can hear me all right, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, perfect. So back in 2006, when I was 11, my uncle was killed in Iraq, and it was pretty tough for me. It was a rough time.
I'm sure.
But But on the night that he died, I was sleeping in my bed and I saw like a shadow peek through my door. And it was just a guy wearing a hat. And I never really thought anything of it. I kind of thought it was maybe him, you know, like in his uniform or something, because he was a Marine.
Yep.
But that same night, my sister had a similar experience where she saw a shadow guy, and she said it was a guy in uniform with a hat, and she was only like 3 at the time. And she said like he was a shadow figure. She was screaming for my mom. And so my mom, she like just said out loud, because it woke the whole house up when she started screaming. So my mom, she was like, you know, Josh, if that was you, you can't come to a 3-year-old little girl as a freaking shadow person. What are you thinking? And the next night, the same figure came back, but it was a rainbow, which we always thought was very interesting. But my sister once again woke us up freaking out and was like, he came back, but he was a rainbow. It was a rainbow. And then, so she went to go sleep with my mom. And then my mom woke all of us up, because after that happened, she said an orb had flown through their door, and she woke up to this ball just hovering above her, like a ball of energy, which I always thought was pretty interesting. But as I get older and I'm a Christian, you know, I don't really believe in necessarily ghosts. I think everybody kind of moves on from that. I think it's all kind of either evil or it's some other type of presence. It's not necessarily the person. So now that like you guys talk about Hat Man a lot, I think maybe it was more so that guy, because he was wearing a hat, maybe not my uncle in uniform, if that makes sense, which was
yeah. I mean, I just pulled up a real quick thing about Hat Man, just for everyone like who doesn't understand Hat Man. This is what I'm finding online, just a quick search. The Hat Man, a shadowy figure often associated with sleep paralysis, is a figure reported to cause terror and is sometimes linked to trauma. He is described as a tall, dark silhouette, sometimes wearing a hat, and often appears during moments of sleep paralysis or when under the influence of certain substances. I don't think you were under the influence at such a young age. No. But while some believe he is a supernatural entity, others attribute his appearance to cultural influences on hallucinations and the psychological effects of sleep paralysis. Now, doesn't sound like you were having sleep paralysis.
No, that was my first experience with anything like that. It was pretty crazy. I mean, I've had sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
Like as I got older, I had it 2 times, and I'll just let people know, invoke the name of Jesus, and those suckers run away.
Yep, I've never had it since being saved, but now I know. But people call in and say that, so that's good to know. But we've had lots of people call in this show's been on air for over a year now. A lot of Hat Man stories, and that's why I typically ask if any sort of trauma or death happened in the family recently. You already told us that happened, because a lot of these stories with Hat Man revolve around typically children who have experienced some sort of loss. And
it was crazy.
So I typically don't hear Hat Man in sleep paralysis. What was that?
I thought it was my uncle checking in on me, but then as I get older and, you know, my beliefs develop, I kind of leaned more towards the Hat Man and not really him, because I think he was already up there with Jesus, you know?
Yeah, that's how I feel. I feel like the Hat Man's some sort of dark entity that some sort of like, I was going to say the word vampire, but that's not exactly what I mean, but he's like something that feeds off of fear and trauma, you know?
So what I think it was, I do think it was a dark entity, but I think what they do is they make you think, or he makes you think it's your relative or your loved one or whoever you care about. Because after this happened, you know, my mom was a Christian, but she saw this ball of energy and had me and my sister reporting these things. So then she went and started seeing mediums. And there was this medium that was on TV. I forget his name, but they went to go see him. And like the guy basically came in with a bunch of details about my uncle. And then now she fell into that path. So I think it's a way for them to mislead and misdirect people.
Was it like John Edwards?
That's exactly who it was.
Holy moly. I remember that show. Yeah. She went on John Edwards, and I mean, the spiritualist movement really popped off in this country during the Civil War. Even Mary Todd Lincoln was doing seances to talk to the dead. Because, I mean, there's so much loss happening. People are losing their minds. And even though they were Christians and they, you know, and the Bible explicitly says, don't do that, people are having a hard time dealing with that trauma. I mean, it was insane.
Oh, yeah.
So absolutely. I understand that how people can go down that path trying to make sense of such a horrible loss.
Oh, I'm sure it's really comforting. I know it really comforted my mom. But if you knew my mom now, she is not the same person she was then. And I think I think those things fed off of her, and you know, now she's kind of lost her mind a little bit.
Wow.
So,
yeah, I mean, that's why I tell people to read C.S. I tell people to read C.S. Lewis's Screw Tape Letters, because that's kind of what's going on. It's like entities trying to influence your behavior and take you away from morality and from God. And they do it in subtle ways here and there, and they do it like in ways where it's like, well, this is good for you, right? This is going to be better for you.
It's all deception. It's all deception. The masters, the leader of deception, the head of deception, and they're going to do the same.
Yep, that's it.
But I got one more story for you. It's a real quick one.
Go for it.
And then I got to get back to work. Cool. Sorry for the beginning of this too. I wasn't expecting to be put on so quick.
That's fine.
But so I was in my car driving home. I used to have a really big addiction to weed, right? And just a lot of bad things that I used to do. And I had actually just watched, keep it PG, but we'll say Korn for all the youngins out there listening, but
not the band. And but yes.
Yeah, no, not the band.
Gotcha.
The inappropriate stuff.
Gotcha.
And I'm driving in my car going home, and a voice in my head, I hear it say, "Do not turn around. Stay focused on the road." And I'm like, and this has never happened to me. I've never heard a voice in my head before. So I'm like, what? And so I don't turn around, but I look in my rearview mirror, and there's a pale figure sitting in the back seat of my car. I have a Toyota Highlander, and it was in the very back row in the rear view. And I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it. But so needless to say, I locked up and I focused on the road now. Right now I'm listening to this voice in my head.
Right.
And the voice in my head just says, you know, you have the authority to tell this thing to go away and make this thing go away. So I invoked the name of Jesus, and I said, in the name of Jesus Christ, I rebuke you, depart from me, get out of my vehicle. And when I said that, when I tell you that I've had a physical reaction, I felt something come out of my throat, and I made a noise. It was like a like, I don't know how to describe it. Like something got sucked out of me.
Whoa.
And that was the end of it. But when I tell you I got no sleep that night, it was the most terrifying experience that I've ever had. But it was also reassuring because, you know, I was able to go with the Lord and get this thing out of me and get it away from me. And ever since then, it's weird. I've been doing a lot better with those addictions. You know, I no longer do those things. So
that's great.
It's interesting how easy it was to get rid of those things after this instance. But yeah, it was a terrifying.
I know you got to go, but you said you turned around and saw this thing? You looked at it in his face?
So it was nighttime. It was probably maybe midnight. It was really late. I was running to Sheetz to go get a little snack for the munchies. You know, I have a Sheetz about 2 minutes from my house. So I was going to get a snack or a munchie. So I didn't see anything clear, but it was very pale and very dark around it. Like, I don't know how to describe it, but upon my research, you know, there's a demon named Pornea, and I believe that that's who it was, because I had just watched that stuff about 30 minutes prior. So that's what I think it was, but it was very scary. It was very pale. Like, you know, those movies where you see like the woman in a dress with a really pale face?
Yeah.
That's what it reminded me of. It was very similar to that.
Wow. Well, that's an experience.
Yeah, it was scary. It absolutely terrified me.
Wild.
But those are the two like main instances that stick out in my mind. I mean, I've had like faucets turn on randomly and stuff like that, but those are the only two where I actually physically saw something and physically experienced something.
Well, when you're done putting electricity in this house, give us a call back at some point.
Awesome. I definitely will. Thank you guys.
Appreciate it, man. Have a good night.
You too. Bye.
Dang. Reminds me of Garmon Bozia from Twin Peaks when people barf out the black bile. Something that like infects you.
Reminds me of Stephen A. Smith when he was like, "Get off the weed."
Yes. Ooh-wee. The blob is coming, Renee says. Yep.
You know, there's
tomorrow or 10 to 15 million years.
There's people who would literally crash their car into a viaduct, flip it over, drive it directly into a river if so much a spider encountered them while they were driving. This guy sees a full-on like skin job in his back
Kept
seat.
it going.
And he's like,
I gotta keep it going. No crashing. And also, I see this is Jay in the chat. Sheets. Shout out to Sheets. One day, that's my goal for sponsorship for the show. Is Sheets gas station. One of the better gas stations I've encountered in New York. No gas stations that I remember have any drive-through. I mean, it's just what a modern phenomenon to see gas stations with drive-throughs. We have that in West Virginia. I think it's a beautiful thing. Buc-ee's is really good. Have you been to Buc-ee's yet?
in Texas.
Yeah, me too.
It was the highlight of touring for a lot of musicians was when we finally get the chance to roll by Buc-ee's.
Yeah, it's Mecca.
And you go in there and have a fucking field day. You know,
so good.
They have the best bathrooms you're gonna find on the road.
Yeah. Seriously, the best bathrooms.
It's nuts. It was like the Walmart of gas stations, like super center of gas stations.
Yeah.
Like they had like hundreds of gas pumps. It was like it felt like it was like 4 city blocks of
it's
gas
unbelievable.
pumps. Like I could not believe what I was seeing the first time I was there.
I love that place.
And they're in there making their own jerky and shit and doing all kinds
brownies,
of
sandwiches,
oh my God, it's
all
so
the
good.
drinks, souvenirs. It's huge. It's America, baby. We love it.
I tend to piss a lot of money away at that place when I go there. That's a thing.
Yeah. When Nancy and I were in Texas, we were driving from Dallas to Austin, and I was like, there is a Buc-ee's. It's an hour and a half out of our way, but we're going. And we went, and it was beautiful. It was great.
I got to find where the closest one to us actually is, because I think it's
There's one. It's like an hour and a half or 2 hours away.
A couple hundred miles or something, yeah.
Not less.
Is it?
Yeah, I think there's one in Virginia somewhere. It's new. It's brand new. It's a bit of a drive, but I think it's worth it.
It's closer than Texas, so I'm about to take a weekend ride one of these times and go hit that up for old time's sake. 'Cause it's been a while since I've been
Sheets, we want a live stream from your gas station. Please, if anyone out there knows the Sheets managerial, the owners, tell them Inverted World Live wants to go to Sheets because it's amazing. We love it.
And I want unlimited fountain drinks and maybe like 2 snack wraps, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah, the show's got to go well first. Hopefully it's not a haunted Sheets, or hopefully it is. Let's do another caller.
Yeah. I have too many fountain drinks and I'm going to piss my sheets. Hey. Zing, zing.
You got it in. We got to get you a drum set in here. That'd be fun for you to produce a show from behind.
I just want to get
set.
like one of those like little ones, like the little teeny tiny one. My buddy got me one like way back in the day, and I used to cover like songs by like The Used and stuff on it, like stuff that was actually like really good.
Yes.
There's a video online somewhere of me doing this in like a Blackhawks Christmas sweater, and I'm just kicking ass on this little like kids drum set thing.
That'd be
It was
awesome.
Very cool. I got to find that, but yeah, that was great. Every time. Never got old. All right, so hang on a second.
Inner city pigeon. I had a muskrat get loose from a live trap when I was driving on the expressway at 80 miles per hour. I had to open the door to get it out. Oh, man. That doesn't sound like fun. The comment right above that is Renee and some beef jerky. I feel like those two could go together.
All right, let's. I want to try. Sorry, I had a stupid moment with YouTube there for a second where it just ceased to exist. But it's back now. Chalk it up to what you will. I don't think it was demons. I see Joan in here twice.
A clone?
Joan has somehow managed to clone herself twice in here. So for the sake of doing this, I remember trying to bring her on before, I believe, and she didn't have a mic.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to see if for the sake of variety, we can bring her back on and see if she has a mic this time.
If you are ever...
Stupid moment with YouTube there for a second where it just ceased to exist. But it's back now. Chalk it up to what you will. I don't think it was demons.
Renee, if you are ever in New York, get Stewart's ice cream.
Twice.
It's the best. Stewart's...
Joan has somehow managed to clone herself twice.
Is there a voice back there?
For the sake of doing this, I remember trying to bring her on before, I believe, and
It's
she
just
didn't
you.
have a mic.
I want to ask you questions, but through there.
I'm going to see if I just...
Well,
for the
it's
sake of variety,
gonna
we can
keep
bring her
going.
back on and
Yeah,
see if she has a
I
mic
don't
this
think he's
time.
there.
Hello.
It's just you.
If you were ever... Stupid moment with YouTube there for a second.
It's on repeat now because
well, this is so meta.
So this is the mirror versus mirror scenario where it just continues to cycle through the multiverse, and we're gonna keep hearing this repeat.
Is this how you MK Ultra me? Oh, Renee, you don't have sheets. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
Yeah,
I can't handle any more
that
of
was
that.
crazy. Maybe that's just a room with no one in it except our voices on a live stream.
I don't know. I don't know what that is. It sounds like someone is watching our show very loudly and not paying attention to the fact that they're in the chat.
Pax Cassandra says, I'm rewatching Twin Peaks. Happy to hear it. If you ever want to call and talk about that for a bit. I think David Lynch, he had a lot of problems. He was into some weird meditation stuff, but one of my favorite artists, and I think Twin Peaks, the world of Twin Peaks is a direct reflection of the world we have now. It's supernatural. It's dark. We're riddled with occult symbols everywhere. I think it's such an important show. It's hard for people to stomach. I know it's not for everybody, but I love that show. I love Fire Walk with Me, the first 2 seasons of Twin Peaks, and then Twin Peaks: The Return, which is my favorite. I reference it all the time, but for a reason, because I love it. And always happy to hear anyone's takes on Twin Peaks. And Mulholland Drive. I like all David Lynch movies, but Mulholland Drive is like a offshoot of Twin Peaks. It was supposed to be Twin Peaks season 3, and he did that as a movie instead, while also talking smack on Hollywood, which is incredible. Incredible. Do we have someone else lined up, or is it?
Yeah.
Is it just 5 Jones now?
No.
Is it the Blob? Is the Blob? Oh, Blue Velvet. Also DMC Blue. I love Blue Velvet. I mean, there's really not any bad ones. Yes, you guys love Twin Peaks. All right. The dad's the 9 Inch Nails. All right, I gotta stop looking because now I'm just gonna go down a rabbit hole of Twin Peaks, and I don't want to suck up 30 minutes just talking about
spiraling, Shane.
Twin Peaks because I could do it, and I have on this show before. So let's do it.
All right, let's go to SSKT. Hello. I do not see a microphone for you.
While we wait, I will say I saw the Lost Highway comment. I also love that movie.
Going off memory here on this one.
Now you have to pretend to be the caller.
It worked pretty good the last time, didn't it? Can you hear us? If so, please engage your microphone.
Oh, man. Well, we can hear nothing.
We will come back.
Wild at Heart, also great. Dad's Dungeon. Yeah, you're the one who threw me off. You almost got me. You did get me. Actually, I was thinking about Twin Peaks. I was thinking about David Lynch when we were talking with the caller about the sphere coming down after the death, because in Twin Peaks season 3, The Return, the spheres are what bring like these demons through from the other dimension, which is a total ripoff on purpose, I believe, from the witches in Wizard of Oz and how they travel in those bubbles. Go rewatch it. It also, Lynch references it specifically in I think Wild at Heart. I'll give you guys a dissertation on Twin Peaks if we have no callers. We'll just start from the beginning and talk about Agent Dale Cooper.
We've definitely got a lot of callers.
All right. So dissertation another day, unless all the callers are just rooms with our voices in them on a feedback loop, which seems possible.
That just blew my mind. I hope not. Let's bring on Austin and find out. Austin, you're on the show. What's up?
Hey, can you guys hear me?
We can. Welcome to the program.
All right, cool. So I'll just preface this by saying, since you guys were talking about IVF babies at the beginning of the show, I am actually an IVF baby, and I promise I am not a super soldier unless there's some Emperor Palpatine Order 66 activation phrase. I am not and never will be a super soldier.
Well, that's good. I mean, maybe they haven't triggered you yet. We don't know.
Yeah, who knows? We'll see.
That's wild. So, yeah, you heard us talking about that. What are your thoughts on IVF and what that baby that was a 31-year-old frozen embryo?
I think that's pretty wild that they can freeze an embryo that long and it can still be viable. I mean, I'll just say I wouldn't be here today if it weren't for it. So obviously I'm for it. But, I sometimes wonder about the other embryos that they, what happened to them or whatever. I don't know why I was the lucky one, but I thank God every day I was the one. So
yeah,
that's my thoughts on it.
Yeah, it's my thing is exactly what you just said. It's hard to think about millions of embryos being destroyed, but like a miracle and beautiful that you're here, because I believe they're all lives. So how old are you?
I am 35.
35. Do you know how long you were an embryo? Like that, not that long, I'm taking it. If it's 35 years, well, maybe.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure about that, to be honest with you.
That would be interesting. Because like 31 years, I don't know. Do you think that does have an effect on an embryo, or could it?
I mean, I guess we'll find out, but I mean, being frozen that long, you never can tell.
It is bizarre. So do you believe do you understand? Well, I guess what I'm trying to say is, where do you fall with a debate on IVF? If you believe in God, or if not, do you believe in life at conception, and with these other embryos that are in storage? Like, where do you fall in that?
I mean, if we believe that life begins at conception, then that is genuinely a life. And I mean, who knows what happened to them? I just got to think, if they were destroyed, hopefully I've got a bunch of siblings up in heaven waiting for me whenever I get there. But, again, I'm kind of biased because I wouldn't be here if it weren't for it. But,
of course,
on the other hand, you've got that moral debate where like you got to wonder if that was genuinely a life and it's gotten destroyed or it's still frozen, what happens to that? Are they stuck in limbo if they're frozen? I mean, who knows, dude?
I know. Yeah. I don't. But it's hard to tell someone who's having a hard time having a baby, to look them in the face and be like, well, I'm against you having a baby. My thing is with all the embryos, but, having a child is the best thing ever. And there's a lot of other ways people are having kids or doing things that I think are extremely inappropriate, and it's obviously better than not. But it's interesting to hear your take on it. I'm very curious. Maybe there will be nothing wrong with the kid. I hope not. But there seems to be a huge difference between having an embryo frozen for just a little bit and like, I don't know if you know these answers, but I'm going to ask. Like, was it from within the family, or were you donated?
They were all my mom's eggs.
Mm-hmm. So, like, I believe what we read was someone donated it, right, to a family.
Right.
So
in my case, it was both my parents.
Right. Yeah, that's wild. Do you have siblings?
I have one brother that was an accident after I was born, and then I have one sister that was adopted.
Mm.
Well, do you remind them of this regularly? Is that like a one-up that you use on your siblings?
Well, I'm just happy I have them. But in my brother's case, it's funny because we look absolutely nothing alike. And if you didn't know we were related, you wouldn't know. Like, the only way I know we're related is that our voices sound kind of similar. But like, he looks nothing like I do. He's kind of, real tall and skinny, slender man looking dude. And I'm, 6'3" and weigh 200 pounds. I'm pretty giant compared to him. So
that's interesting.
If it weren't for the fact that I knew we were related, you'd never know.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, the other thing that is weird to me is when they start to make designer babies through this.
Right.
Like, that to me, I can understand the IVF for the kid. Like I said, I'd have issues with the frozen embryos that get destroyed, like big time. But then to go that extra step and to say, we're going to now design our like dream child, that seems like way too far.
Right. It's like, creating a character in a video game whenever you're starting a new game.
Honestly.
Like,
going to Build-A-Bear.
Honestly.
Yeah, exactly.
Wild. But did you have any other takes on that or anything else?
Well, I got a monster story for you if you want to hear that.
Perfect. Let's hear it.
All right. So when we were growing up, every year for 2 weeks in the fall, we'd always go down to Galveston, Texas, and one of the trips, and I think I was about 12 or 13 at the time, and my brother was about 11, and we were. If anybody's ever been there, they kind of have the park office with a big boardwalk that goes out onto the beach, and you can kind of walk out there and just, cruise the beach in either direction. And it was not quite dark out. It was like the sun had already gone down, but it was kind of like, dusky twilight. It wasn't completely pitch black, but it was pretty dark to where you couldn't, see, 200 yards in front of you. And My dad had one of those like OG mag lights, like the big suckers that hold like 4 D cell batteries that he had with us, you know,
like
in
a
case
weapon.
we were out there too long. Yeah, exactly. You could beat someone over the head and murder them with it if you had to.
Yeah.
But we were just kind of walking, and we saw this silhouette off in the distance, maybe 100 and 150 yards out there, and it looked like, I want to say like a dog or a coyote that was just kind of like crouched down, like chewing on something. And so my dad flicks on the mag light and he shines it at this thing. And as soon as the light hit this thing, it just stood up on 2 legs. I mean, it was huge. It had to have been maybe 8-9 feet tall. It was just enormous. And it stood there for a split second and just stared at us. And then all of a sudden, just full on booked it, started sprinting towards us. And my dad's like, oh crap. And he grabs me and my brother by the hand, and he's just running as fast as he can away from this thing. And I mean, he's dragging me and my brother. He was scared. And we're just running for, I think we were maybe 200, 300 feet away from the park office. And when we made it up there, he stopped and he turned around and he shone the light back to see if he could see where this thing was. Because, I mean, he was so scared he didn't want to stop and look until we were, you know, somewhere safe where somebody could see us. And so he flicks the light back around, and we saw it like it had stopped running and it was just kind of walking, and then it stopped, and then it turned and it went towards the surf, walked into the water, and then just kind of flopped down on its belly and swam out into the surf. And I like, we never got a good look at it. And I was always kind of like, you know, did I imagine this? Because I was pretty little at the time, you know, maybe my brain's playing tricks on me.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember years later asking my mom about it, and she's like, you know, your father was absolutely scared shitless. Like, I have never seen him so scared in my life before. So that kind of was like, you know, I didn't imagine it. My dad saw it. My brother saw it.
Wow.
I don't know what in the heck it was. I don't know if it was a skinwalker, a Wendigo, a demon, whatever. But whatever it was definitely very scary. And my dad just, she said he had never seen him that scared in her entire life. So I don't know what it was, but I mean, it sure scared him.
Yeah. Did you guys leave after that?
I think we were there another 2 or 3 days, but like needless to say, we didn't go out on the beach after dark again after that.
Yeah, my goodness, I would leave. I'm like, nope, we're done here. That's great. That's a scary sight for 2 kids, and especially if the father's like scared, and you see your dad being scared or like
yeah, exactly.
bolting.
I mean,
like,
my dad's a pretty big dude. Not much scares him, but
right,
I mean,
right.
He was scared.
I didn't expect you to say it was going to flop into the water and swim away. That was not the exit.
It's like Creature from the Black Lagoon or something, man. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, that makes it even scarier. Like, what?
I know.
Wow. Wendigo could be, you know, I don't know. We've had some stories about them. They're scary. They make weird. Did you hear anything? I'm sure it's hard to remember.
No, it was completely silent.
Okay.
Other than, you know, you could hear it running behind us, but that was about it.
And it was on 2 legs running after you.
It was when it stood up and started running after us. And, you know, again, we didn't dare look behind us to check and see where it was at. We were just trying to get away from it. But, you know, the only time it went back down is when it flopped on its belly and swam out into the surf.
Sheesh. Did you said you're with your brother?
Yeah.
Did you talk to him about it?
Yeah, I mean, he pretty much said the same thing I did, and he has the same memory of it.
Interesting. This is the second crazy ghost paranormal story we've had from Galveston, Texas. Interesting place. I've never been. Now I want to go.
Yeah, and they've got that, what is it, like a level 4 CDC lab out there, so who knows, maybe something busted out of there.
Interesting. I didn't know that. That reminds me of like the Long Island monster, which is from their weird lab they had out there where they say they made Lyme disease. But the Long Island monster washed ashore, and it was just a weird looking creature. I don't know. Some people say it might have just been a dog corpse. If you look, there's pictures online. It doesn't look like a dog corpse to me. Looks like something they made, but
yeah, man, who knows, dude?
That's wild. Well, I really appreciate you calling in and sharing the IVF stuff and giving us your take and sharing this insane monster story, dude.
Yeah, definitely.
Have a great night.
All right, you too.
Thank you. Monster story. Of course I want the monster story. That's wild. That is wild. Let's go to another caller. It's 11:40. We got time maybe for one, maybe two more. Thank you guys for tuning in, for being in the chat and being awesome. As always, it's Monday, so we will be here tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday, 10 to 12. We would hope to get to as many as we can every episode, but of course we don't. So Brandon's always good about getting your names down, and you guys call back tomorrow or the next day, and we'll get you in.
Yep.
And I just checked in with the chat to see, not going to lie, Biodome is awesome.
Oh, that's because I said that he had just described what sounded like Pauly Shore.
That's hilarious.
So now we've gotten into Pauly Shore.
That's hilarious.
That's what I think was chasing him and flipped on its belly and then went back into the water. Is Pauly Shore.
He does make, he does look strange. But shout out to Pauly Shore. Pauly Shore is hilarious. He's been on a lot of podcasts lately. Pauly Shore broke free. It says Corn Pop. Corn Pop? Are you the Corn Pop who knew Joe Biden? Obsidian Survival says The Deer Woman, Oklahoma's native spirit legend. I will look into it. Let's, who do we got?
Still a decent amount. There's still some people hanging out in here that got off the phone and just stayed. Never left. Let's bring on Monica. Monica, can you hear us? If you can, your mic is muted.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Oh, so nice to talk to you, gentlemen.
Oh, thank you for calling in. How are you?
I'm doing good. Last time you were talking about the humming noise that I called in, and that was very interesting to speak to you. Someone who's also experienced it, well, like I did.
Mm-hmm.
And so you were talking about possessed dolls earlier, Annabelle and whatnot. And whenever I was a little girl, I actually had experiences with possessed dolls, and it was definitely Raggedy Ann. At first, when I was like 3 or 4, maybe 5, I remember this doll that my mom and dad bought me. Like, they sat it on this chest of drawers that was so tall that I couldn't reach it, and it was in my bedroom when I was a little girl, and I would always at nighttime see it looking at me, see it making grimacing faces at me, and it would make me feel scared in my own bedroom. And I was just like, I don't want this in my room. It felt like it was evil. It felt like it was possessed. And I was a little girl, so why would I be feeling like that if it wasn't something sinister that was actually trying to come at me? And then whenever I was at my cousin's house, we were best friends as children, and she had a one of those, you remember that commercial, my buddy, my buddy, my buddy, my buddy.
You just opened up, you just opened up severe trauma in me. Thank you. I hate my buddy.
She had one of those dolls.
Oh goodness.
And that doll was also seemed like it was possessed by something, and it would start talking in the middle of the night. No one would be near it, and it would just start making noises and talking, and we'd be trying to sleep in her bedroom, and she had a playroom which the doll was in, and the doll would be making these noises in the middle of the night, and we'd be like, what the hell? Why is that doll making noises? And we chalked it up to, she had a cat, and we were like, oh, maybe the cat's near the doll and it's setting off the doll. And that doesn't make sense, because you have to actually press a button on the doll for it to make any kind of sounds or whatever.
Right.
And then whenever my sister was a little girl, she had an Elmo doll, one of those talking Elmos. And it would be in her toy box, and no one's anywhere around it, and it would be talking, and it wouldn't sound like it normally sounds whenever you press the button. It would just be sounding like evil,
right?
Evil Elmo. And so it would be making all these evil noises at night. And we'd be like, what? Why is that doing that? And then we got to the point where we were like, okay, take the batteries out, take the batteries out. And we take the batteries out, it would still be making noises and talking.
Well, then you got to burn it.
Yeah.
I don't like dolls. There's something wrong with dolls.
Is that, or is it not what Chucky was like based off of? Was like one of these things.
A soul of an evil person.
Well, yeah, but like
Chucky,
it was
right?
like it was like a My Pal situation, like the My Buddy. But this thing looks insanely familiar. Because I've got it pulled up right now on the show. Because I wanted to put Shane through some severe PTSD so I could watch him sweat from across the room.
I'm about to shoot the TV.
And two, I know what I'm getting you for your birthday, buddy.
I'm
going to have this thing sitting here in the guest seat.
For those just listening, we're looking at My Buddy. Our caller referenced My Buddy. It's got like a few freckles, big blue eyes, and like a bowl cut. I looked like that. So my parents brought home that like doppelganger, and I hated this thing. Like I beat it up.
Your parents got that for you when you were a kid.
Yeah, they clearly love me. They want the best for me. Here, let's traumatize our child in our old haunted house in the middle of the woods. Let's give him something that looks just like him. And hate that thing.
It's crazy.
Crazy.
And it's the Raggedy Ann thing with me. Like I'm a little like redheaded, brown. Like I got red brownish hair, and like here's your Raggedy Ann doll. I'm just like this thing is like taunting me when I'm trying to sleep at night. Like
here's this thing that looks like you. It wants to eat your soul and become you. Great.
Right.
Good night. We love you.
We love you.
Nope.
No.
I have 3 kids, 2 daughters, and our middle daughter was like, one of her cousins has an American doll. And I was like, no, I'm not having one of those things in the house. But we capitulated at some point. She was like, all right, she earned it. We got a little American doll. And she hated it immediately. And then came up to me at one point recently and said, that doll's eyes are creepy. I'm
right?
Like, I know.
Exactly.
I know.
Kids can see it. Kids can see it.
Well,
let's blow it up.
Here's the one that got no love was Raggedy Andy.
I don't like this one either. Look at that.
Oh,
Look at the shape of that.
No. Raggedy Ann's long lost brother.
Look at the shape of it. Imagine that thing walking.
And
no way.
Yeah, Andy was just left out of the equation. I never heard any stories about Andy trying to kill anybody or come back and haunt anybody. It was always Ann.
Because he's better at it. He's better at hiding it.
Right. He's fucking and he's
he's flooding for sure in his custom trousers.
Yep. I don't like anything about that or any.
I don't like any dolls. Like all dolls look kind of weird and evil if you really think about it. Like
porcelain dolls for sure. They're the creepiest thing I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. Their eyes move in their heads, and I don't understand.
I'm sorry.
Why you would do that.
All dolls go to hell.
Exactly. And that whenever you started talking about like the Annabelle story, and it was a comedian bought the Annabelle house.
Yeah,
and
Matt
all
Refe.
of that.
Matt Refe.
Dude, he's gonna have some hard times in the future. Like that's not going to be a good.
That or he's going to be completely fine and he's going to make a bunch of money.
I don't know about it. That's going to be some serious. I mean, I'm going to tune in. I'm going to watch because I don't know like what he was thinking when he did that. He's a comedian. Like, why are you buying a haunted house with haunted?
He seems to be really into the paranormal stuff and the ghost stuff, which is cool. But some people, that's weird, I guess. I wouldn't do it, but there's people who do all types of weird stuff. They collect art from serial killers, which some of it does look cool, but I don't really want that in the house.
Was that Ed Gein who made the armchair out of
people?
Yeah.
You know about Zach Bagans from Ghost Adventures? Is that his name? Zach?
I'm not sure. I've never watched it.
Well, he's a host, the top guy from Ghost Adventures. He buys a lot of haunted things, and like he has a museum in Las Vegas, like paranormal museum.
Oh yeah,
and he buys a whole bunch of stuff that's like supposedly be haunted, and he puts it there, and people, Zach Bagans, I think his name is, but yeah, people go there, and he knows exactly what he's doing when he buys this stuff because he's in ghost hunting and paranormal adventure. But like, if you're a comedian and you're getting yourself into that kind of situation, are you really sure what you're doing? Like,
I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see.
I know. I'm going to be watching.
We all will. We're going to try to go there.
Thank you for sharing.
Of course. Yeah. Thank you for calling in. We appreciate it. Have a great night.
I love your show so much.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Monica.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Good night.
Night. Let's try for one more caller. Let's do it. Monday night.
All right.
God, thank you for traumatizing me. Oh, Brandon over here just reopening up all the PTSD from my childhood.
Oh yeah.
Of my
you got to
buddy.
bring that. You
So
got
I
to bring
hear
all
live.
that shit to the surface.
Yeah.
You can deal with
I
it,
feel
bro.
better.
You can't keep it bottled in.
I'm feeling better that you did
You
it.
need a massive release. If you have a nightmare tonight, you can talk about it tomorrow, and it'll fill our first 30 minutes.
Perfect.
Then I won't have to look up all these articles, and we'll be, it's good.
Joe Brezel said Ed Gein was ahead of his time. First postmodern artist. Well, yeah. Also a great band, Ed Gein. I don't know if anyone got into that band.
I did for a little bit.
They were a crazy 3-piece band.
Yeah.
Yeah, Renee, shock therapy. You saw it right here live.
All right. So I'm going to bring on... Trying to randomize this here because I don't want to be. I'm not trying to play favorites here, but there's a lot of people that have still been here the entire 2 hours waiting. So we're just going to go with a random.
You guys are awesome.
All right, so we're going to bring on Jamie. Jamie, we got about 10 minutes left, brother, if you want to unmute and give us your story.
Yo.
What up?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Am I live?
Can you hear us?
Yeah, you're live. Can you hear us?
Okay. Yeah, I can. Thanks for letting me on, fellas.
Of course. What's going on?
Yeah, man. Great show tonight.
Thank you.
You know, a lot of different, I don't know if anybody else, but when you're waiting to call in, somebody calls in, you're like, you forget what you were originally calling in about. You want to call and talk about something else.
That's awesome.
You know, I about lost my kid in Washington, D.C. about 10 years ago or so. We were on the mall, and, you know, she's about 5 or 6, and she sees the escalators at a museum. I'm like, sure, you can take the escalator up. And I think she's just going to come right back down. And she didn't come right back down. And, you know, you kind of just not really there in the moment.
Yeah.
And then she's gone. And then you're like, oh, my God. And thank God for about 8 minutes of hell, we found her. So I can't imagine.
What happened?
You know, well.
Uh-oh.
He was not abducted. He remuted. It's okay. He's still
there.
Here.
We go. All right, cool. Yeah, security guard found her.
Wow.
A lady, thankfully. But you know, you just as parents, I don't know, man. You just make the mistake of looking away or thinking something's all right.
Yep.
And it can change your whole life. And for about 8 minutes or so, mine was over. And but thankfully we found her, but some people don't, and that just brings up just horrible feelings. But the real reason I was calling, because I know how much you love the moon and how much Brandon loves the Bible, so I figured I would bring them together, right?
Well done.
Yes, I worked on that one.
Well done.
So I just real quick, because for me it really it brings the moon into a different perspective than I think I've really heard anybody go to. And just real quick, I won't turn it into a Bible study, Brandon, I promise.
Do your worst.
God said in Genesis chapter 1, verse 14, he said, God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years, right? He says, and let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. So in verse 16, he says it this way, and God made 2 great lights, a greater light to rule the day and a lesser light to rule the night. Now, I'm no genius by any means, but when God says light, I think he means light. Now, we know the moon today does not produce light.
Mm-hmm.
It is a reflector of light.
Yep.
So either God's a liar or the moon changed.
You know what I think?
Well, I know God's not a liar.
Yeah.
We don't want to know what you think, Brandon.
This is good. This is what he gets for putting my buddy in my face.
That's right.
Yeah.
You attack my buddy, I'm gonna attack you, buddy. I'm kidding, y'all both my buddies, but I mean this for real. Like God said, a lesser light. So a lesser light would, in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, well, what's the greater light? It's a ball of fire, right? Just a big one.
Mm-hmm.
A lesser light would be a smaller ball of fire, right?
Yeah.
So what is the moon? What was the moon before the flood? Because before the flood, it never rained. There was a canopy in and around the earth, and water came up from below the earth, right? So the moon, if there was a canopy, let's say like a layer, it would have to be far more bright than it is today to even be visible.
Yeah, I think it was Megan in the chat. I missed it, but she said that the moon changed. You know,
yeah.
Like I think I do think there's something there. You know, I don't know what it is. I just think it's changed.
Well,
and I
think
think
about it like this: a dwarf star further away, right?
Mm-hmm.
This dwarf star dims, and as it's dimming, and once it loses its ability to do what it did for the Earth, like, you know, as far as magnetically and the effect that it had being stronger, once that happened, it caused the Earth to break apart, and then it released the waters that were under the Earth, which literally flooded the Earth. The flood was not a result of the rain. The floods were there when the rain fell. If you read Genesis, the floods covered the earth and then it rained. So the water came from below the earth. And that effect that something changing in the moon had on the gravitational whatever of the earth, I think during the flood, and then the earth pulled that rock closer. And it's the moon we have today. That's just my thoughts. But it's not a light anymore, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, I think it was hijacked by something else.
The devil borrowed it.
Perhaps, or China. Maybe the same thing.
Well, they're the same thing.
Yeah. Wait, we didn't hear Brandon's answer, though.
I mean, like, my answer in terms of what I think it is, how I think it got there.
Yeah.
Do I think it's changed? I mean, yeah, I'm sure it has. It's been a long ass time. I haven't been here for most of it, you know.
Yeah.
39 years isn't shit in the lifespan of a giant space rock, but
you're a baby.
I do. Yeah, well, you know, I try. But I don't think I'm that big of a baby, because now I get excited when they card me at the gas station. And that's a natural reaction to getting old. But yeah, someone said it earlier. Something about someone tells Shane that the moon is a rock and he's an idiot or something. I think
that's the first chat on
somebody put it in chat.
That's good. Have you ever been? Have you ever been to the moon?
Have you ever been to the moon?
You've never been.
They're growing beans on the moon.
Oh yeah, that's what
they are. They are growing beans on the moon. Yeah. But you know, literally, it used to be. All I'm saying is the Word of God says that He created a lesser light. And for it to be a light, something, in my opinion, for something to be a light, it has to produce light. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and there could have been something else. The story of the moon creation, I just don't buy, and I do think something's there. I just think we don't know the full story, and maybe we never will.
Well, it doesn't create light, but it mirrors light, right?
Yeah.
So,
wouldn't God know that? Wouldn't He say, well, I'm going to create a greater light to rule the day, and then, you know, something to reflect that light to rule the night. Like,
if he is as
when
all-knowing and omnipotent as everyone claims, then yes, I would think that he should know this.
He should know that. I mean, you know, and if he says light, I mean, I'm just thinking he means light. You know, that's all I'm saying.
Yep. I agree.
That was my thought.
Well,
thanks for your time, fellas.
I'll just leave it with this. Renee says the moon is cheese, and she might be right.
That's right. Gouda.
Gouda. Awesome, man. Well, have a good night.
Thanks, Jamie.
Later. Appreciate it.
Gerard is saying, is the moon hollow? Look, there's a ton of theories. There are a ton of theories out there. It could just be a rock, and there's other things there that we don't know about.
According to whoever's been up there to study it, as Shane would say, if you believe in that sort of thing,
Yep.
it is made up of a crust, a mantle, and a core, kind of like our planet is. So the structure is very similar, made up of different things, of course, but it's also supposedly had volcanic activity, different impacts from other space debris that have caused the craters that it has.
Yeah. And maybe
we've got craters too. That's what the Gulf of America is now. It's just one giant
Gulf of America
crater where a meteor hit the planet that supposedly killed the dinosaurs. If you believe in that sort of thing, as I would say.
Yep, exactly. They were dragons. We will get to this tomorrow, but a little preview. Speaking of the moon, scientists may have found a way to turn moon dust into rocket fuel.
Yes.
So that'll be for tomorrow. Thank you to all of our callers. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. Brandon, let them know where to find you.
You can find me, as always, on X and Insta at Brando Inverted. Thanks for hanging out. Do not forget to stay weird. We'll see you tomorrow. Shane.
You guys are the best. Thank you so much for tuning in. Really appreciate it. You can find me everywhere online at Shane Cashman. We will be back tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Hope you guys have a great night, and we will see you then. Later.